it is Monday. Good morning. Welcome to Once Human. Still, not much to do in the game for me. We tried a Nightmare Prime War last night, and as I said, I knew it was going to fail. Unfortunately, it's not me being negative. It was just we didn't have enough people, and the way things were being set up and built, I knew that there was just no hope for us to get past that. So it failed as foreseen, and I just left because it just wasn't worth my time to continually try to do the same thing. We were just not going to be able to do it. So unfortunately, that's what happened, and we are where we are now, where we did not complete it, and I don't think they'll ever have the people or the build set up properly to run that nightmare. We did good with breaking some shields on the first two bosses. The third boss, which was the flying boss, of course. Excuse me. There's an issue with that boss. There has to be a better way of doing that. You need your missiles. Without those, you're going to just get destroyed. And there's no way around that. It's just not going to, we're not going to change that. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, there's two sides to the nightmare, and you got to cover both of the pools. Each side has to have a full complement of people, so like 20 people on each side. Actually, it's going to be less than that because there's going to be a couple people on the missiles, firing the missiles. Break the shield as fast as possible. Make sure everyone has mollies and they're tossing them. No one technically should be shooting it. Everyone should be tossing their mollies. I mean, in between tossing a molly, you can shoot a little bit because any extra damage is good damage. But unfortunately, again, like I said, we got to where the flyer was, which is the, it looks like an angel sort of, and it just destroyed everything. The missiles were taken out on the first boss, so we didn't have any missiles there to shoot. They were too close to the spawn, to be honest with you, like way too close to the spawn. And then most people died when the Manibus decided to blast the ground with its skill. We were all able to get back up and then not die again because we tried to stay out of it. But at that point, it was just going from, the majority of us were just traveling from one boss to another boss as fast as possible on motorcycles across the bridge. And then trying to kill that. It's just, you can't do it. You have to divide the people up into sides, and they have to take care of their sides. And then the missiles have to do the work. Without it, again, there's nothing we can do. But I'm not surprised when I was on server A, they finally beat the Manibus. But when I was on there, they didn't beat the Manibus the first time they tried it either. They got basically demolished. And it's a learning experience, you know. It's literally the hardest boss in the game to beat, and we just failed. I can't even say anymore. We just failed. And that was it. Sad that we just failed like that, but that's what happened. I wanted to get through it. I think maybe if we had more people with grenade launchers, maybe a couple people with missile launchers or something like that, maybe it would, even flamethrowers, I guess, it would have been a little bit better. I think I'm gonna invest in getting a rocket launcher and making, maybe not a rocket launcher, but the grenade launcher. I might invest in that, and then I don't know. I've never used it before. I don't even begin to want to know how to use it. I don't even know how much it costs to make the stuff that I'm going to need. I definitely got to go get platinum crystals. I was hoping that I could get lucky with the memetics and maybe get the crystal thing, but I don't think it's possible because I don't believe I have any resets left on this. So because I'm not too like I want to change this out to something else. 2 birds, 1 stone. I don't utilize this. So. Oh, I can. Okay. Of course, nothing that I can use. Oh no, I didn't want this. Improve Stardust barriers, facility boost, hydraulic generator, maximum number of generators +1. New facility, lucky logging site. You will have a chance to obtain random extra crops when gathering whenever the sun is shining. I guess nothing that I actually need. Damn it. This sucks. I mean, the only one I could see really useful would be this one with the hydraulic generators. And even then, I don't need any more hydraulic generators, so. Stardust barrier, lucky logging site. Oh, jeez. Reset this again. Because the resets don't guarantee. Closed beta ends on the 26th, but 26th of this month, the closed beta will end, and then the game should be out the summer of 2024 sometime. Hopefully in July. We're looking at around July because that's when it says the mobile will be coming out. So I'm assuming that the PC version will be coming around at the same time. Yeah, no problem. Alright, let me try and reset this one more time. Nope, can't reset it. So, this is what we get. So, I'll just go. I was hoping to get the crystals. I got it on my other character. So, I have the acid or the acid ability, the stardust ability, and the crystal ability on my other character. Which is excellent. Because you can literally just do all of your upgrades all at one time because you have all the material that you need. Stardust barriers. And I don't use stardust barriers, so that should tell you that that was completely useless for me. No. Alright. Man, this game gets frustrating sometimes when you're just trying to do stuff and you don't want to trade into certain things because you stardust barriers. Here we go. So let's get it and then see what little bonus I got from it. And I don't even know where to make this at. I think it might be in the synth bench. Who knows? There's my regulators. It's gotta be in here. There it is, right there. This don't cost shit to make though. I mean, I got this in abundance. Probably be good for the Prime Wars. having a barrier, especially on that last one, the nightmare. That would be great. I think this will be good. It's better than the turrets because I mean, again, I'm not doing resonators on this character. I did resonators on the other one. I'm not doing them on this one. If I do, I have enough to be able to do it without too much difficulty. I'm just not set up really to do resonators on this character. But now most of the people that are level 50s, we're just waiting around in order for the beta to end. A lot of people are confused about this beta because there's a feature in the game for Eternal Land and that would allow you to basically send items over to Eternal Land, and then there's a point system within Eternal Land. I believe it's of 100,000 points. Items that are allowed to be saved will have a value attached to them and count against that 100,000 points. So depending on what you plan on saving, we don't know what the points are going to be, so we don't know how much can be saved, or if it's like where you save a blueprint for a gun or something like that, does it cost 100,000? We don't even know if you could save blueprints for the guns. It says something like that, but everyone's confused about it right now at this time, and we're just waiting. I don't believe any of the stuff. Well, I know for a fact that nothing that we transfer into Eternal Land now is going to be saved. They made that very clear. With the only thing that's going to be in when the game releases that we're going to get are the medals that we earn for the costumes, for the dragon costume, and that's it. So that's the only thing we're going to get for this. The stuff that we put over in the Eternal Land is not going to be saved. So there's people in game now telling people, oh, you could save this and you could save that. I'm trying to tell them, no, it's not going to be saved. It's not even active. On my other character, it's not active. You can't save anything. And we're already in that section of the Eternal Land save part. So they don't have it active yet. Excuse me, my nose is getting a little stuffed up. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning for me, so it's still fairly early. Anyway, you can't save anything at the moment, and we got people telling people, oh, you're going to be able to save this and you're going to be able to save that. I don't like all the misinformation that gets given in the beta, because none of it is... Everything right now is subject to change. Everything that they have in the game, they can change at a moment's notice. They can change the way that the gacha machine works. They can change everything about their idea of only pursuing cosmetics as a form of transactions within the game, so that there's no pay to win. I think there's going to be some surprises for people when the game releases. I don't think the game is going to release, as they said in the beginning, as a free-to-play game. I think it will be a pay for the game, and then you'll get like premium passes for the seasons. Cosmetics will be within the game, and the gacha system, unfortunately, is set up to produce to function with premium currency, because it uses Starcrom, and Starcrom can only be, right now, Starcrom can only be got if you do your resonators, if you do Prime Wars, and then completing all your seasonal challenges and stuff like that. You get some Starcrom from. The problem is solos who are not going to, and there's a lot of solos in the game, by the way, who are not going to be in a hive, or not going to be in, or maybe they're in a hive, just a group of friends, but they're not able to do the Prime Wars by themselves. They might have a hard time if the war bands within the game try and control the Prime Wars and always have 40 people of their people entering the Prime Wars, where other people aren't going to be able to participate in. I see a problem with that happening, because there are war bands that will do that, and then you're going to lock other players out of a possibility of making Starcrom, another way of making Starcrom. So I foresee a premium currency that you can buy, that you can then purchase Starcrom with, and then use to played a gacha machine, which is just basically loot boxes in disguise. And it's, again, I've had conversations on the Discord server with people saying, "Oh no, it's not a loot box system," and it's exactly what a loot box system is. And they're like, "No, because it has a guaranteed drop. It has a guaranteed drop of whatever they programmed in there to drop, and it's not. It's random, so it's not. There's nothing guaranteed about it at all. Like you're not guaranteed to get a certain type of weapon, except for the first time you use it. You're always going to gain. You're always going to get the. Let me go in and make sure. You're always going to get the Scar Outsider BP, right? Because that was part of the tutorial for the gotcha machine, but it was only a tutorial. So you do your first rolls, you always get this, always. But then there's no guarantee to get any gun after that, or any. There's guarantees to get like a gold blueprint or something like that after a certain amount of pulls. But that's exactly how loot boxes work. It's the same concept. I don't know why people were like trying to argue about it. It's a fucking loot box system. That's all it is. But no one will mind it if it just stays that way. But again, they posted something regarding taking all the blueprints that are locked behind the gotcha system, which are all the best blueprints and the best armor, putting them out in the world, and then utilizing the gotcha machine probably for something else, or maybe still for the guns, but for fragments of the guns, so that you can upgrade your weapons, right? But you'll be able to get the weapon without having to go to the gotcha machine. You'll have to fight a boss, or it'll be a hidden box somewhere that you got to find, whatever it is. That'll be good, because then people will be able to still have access to the guns, or have a way of trying to get the gun that they want, and then get the builds that they want to, have. Just having to go through the gotcha machine to get those items, it limits your build options almost. It does, because it limits your build options to what you receive, right? Not what you're out there farming for. So trying to get a specific build, it's going to be by chance if it stays the way that it is, and that's not a good system in a game that offers all this stuff. If you want longevity in a game, it's not just end game content like we have now, which is just doing Prime Wars basically and farming bosses. But the Prime Wars are what you have to do in order to get the currency to make more spins on the gotcha machine. Without it, you're not going to be able to make more spins, and therefore you have no chance of getting the good guns. And you're stuck with whatever you get. So I have a memento here that I can use. I believe I have a fast gunner right here. Yep, I got a fast gunner with the Wrath of Hades that I can use. I would have rather preferred the Predator, but the Wrath of Hades isn't bad. So I could combine those two and make a fast gunner build, which is great for the end boss. The build that I currently am running is an unstable bomber build, but the unstable bomber build is not effective against the end boss. It really is not. The end boss is immune to all elemental damage, and unstable bomber is considered elemental damage. I don't know why it is. Because of the explosion, so it's considered elemental damage. And that extra damage that you get from that does not work on the last boss. So all you're getting basically when you go to shoot the last boss is the damage from the weapon that you have. So having fast gunner or even shrapnel is better than any of the other weapons in the game for the end boss, for the giant. So this is a bounce build, but bounce is not really effective because it's a low chance and it's only within a certain range, and on a big boss you're going to hit for minimal with the bounce. This is shrapnel. It should be good against the boss. Again, I would probably want to use fast gunner before any of the other weapons. Something with fast gunner on it. I mean, there are options, but I guess a Fortress Warfare build would be nice too against the big boss because you get that defense bonus and defense buffs, which is pretty cool. So there's two main builds I would probably go with now since Fortress Warfare doesn't count as an elemental. I would go with either a fast gunner build or a Fortress Warfare build, and then maybe shrapnel because shrapnel has a direct damage. I believe it's considered direct damage. Even the special trigger for shrapnel is, I believe, direct damage, so it doesn't count as elemental. I'm not 100% sure with that, but I believe it is that way. So you can pick up some nice weapons, but your chances are not. Like I have this on my other account, the Unstable Bomber, the Little Jaws. But they put the leather jacket that you need in order to trigger Jaws behind this right here. Sleek leather jacket. You can only get this through the gacha machine. And your chances are not great that you're going to get this. As you can see, I have 0 of 15 blueprints for this, and I had plenty of pulls on the gacha machine. Now, again, on my other account, I got this and this on my other account. But I got lucky pulls. And that's just the way it is. I think that's a terrible system. Terrible. Because, again, it's not that it's a bad system if there was better ways of earning the currency that you need to utilize it. It's a bad system because you get locked into that currency, and it is just set up for premium currency, really, to get the best items in game or the items that you need. It's set up for that. Without it, Unstable Bomber, like my build is using the sniper rifle, so I can generally one-hit most mobs once I start getting it going. But with this, it would almost be a guaranteed, hit every single time. Because your crit rate goes up. So, when you're near 100% crit rate, I don't know where I'm at now. I think my crit rate is low because I did have the jacket on, but I don't have it anymore. Let me see what my crit rate is. Yeah, see, my crit rate was up, 70-some%, and I was hitting Unstable Bomber almost every shot, right? And now I'm stuck with a 34% crit rate. There's also trigger chance, right? There's trigger chance, which I don't see in here at all. But my crit rate bonus is 100%, of course, but that comes with it when you run Unstable Bomber. So that's you get a bonus off the crit rate. So the more crit you do, the more damage you do with Unstable Bomber. It's a very inconsistent damage right now without the jacket, so you're just hoping you'll get your crits. And as Unstable Bomber pops on this, you do get an increase in your crit, right? And it will give you up to 5 stacks. So your range goes down, but your damage will go up. And you're getting a bonus off of crit damage. I don't know who's figuring out all this stuff, but I think if your chances of getting a jacket that's supposed to complement the build and the gun that you got through the roll anyway, then your chances should increase for if you're going to let us roll for a gun, and I get an Unstable Bomber gun like this, or I get Jaws, or I get Little Jaws, right? Both Unstable Bomber guns. Then every pull after on the wish machine, there should be a greater chance for me to get the set for Unstable Bomber or another piece of gear for Unstable Bomber. Not another random piece, because if I don't get my Unstable Bomber build correctly, then I'm going to have a hard time in the game and struggle to go through your content. people don't have a lot of. Some people don't have a lot of acid or stardust or crystals in order to upgrade their weapons and change out their builds as rapidly. The crystals I can go farm. It's not a big issue for me. Yeah, it's a small setback because you just got to go farm them now. You got to farm them in a higher level area, so it makes you go out and farm, which is smart. I think the devs did a good job with that kind of stuff. Like, I don't have to worry about stardust. I definitely don't have to worry about acid. I got plenty of acid. I actually gave away 15,000 acid yesterday to people who came over and just gave me a drill for another player that I knew, and I get a guy over 1,000 or almost 10,000 acid for it, 8,000 acid for it, and he didn't even ask for it. I just gave it to him because I got so much of it I didn't need it. It's like, here, I don't need all this acid. Excuse me. I don't need all this acid at the end game. I'm not even using all this acid for anything. Yeah. I'm probably going to let this run out and just replace it and just keep doing it that way instead of coming in and trying to keep it going, because I just don't need that much acid anymore. I mean, I don't even need the acid that I have now. It's not, I don't need it at all. And that was the other problem with Endgame, with a lot of the characters in the game, because people are like, I just got too much of everything now. And I'm solo, strictly solo. I don't play with a hive. I don't play in a warband. And I have more materials than just about anybody in the game. All my stuff is stacked. And I'm giving away thousands of materials yesterday. I gave away 1,000 standard parts, 1,000 refined parts, and 1,000 special parts yesterday. And then I gave away a lot of this. It's just, you get so much. If you play the game correctly, you'll have enough materials for everything that you need to do. The bulletproof fabric, that can get chewed down pretty quickly when you start making mollies for the Prime Wars, so you gotta, stay on top of that. But I gave the guy my chainsaw because he's a lower level. I don't even use my chainsaw. At this point, I'm just going to create an axe, and when I needed to lay down in my camp, I'll just use the axe. There's no reason for the chainsaw at this point, because I have 4 boxes of wood, I believe. This one's all wood. Like, I don't need wood. But I like to organize and I save everything, so I got a lot of materials like in the background. I gave away all my other, all those to the kid too, because he needed it. He just, he's only like level 20 in the game, and I wanted him to have a good start, so I gave him some alcohol and some food to work with. I actually need to go get some rabbits so I can make my stam food. Rabbits are a pain in the ass in the game, because they're hard to hunt. And they are, and they're a pain in the ass to hunt. But literally, like, I didn't even tier this up because there was no reason to, but I could if I wanted to start tearing that up. Actually, you know what? I might do that tonight because that'll use some of my resources. I just don't have the crystals right now to get it all the way up. don't want to tear past that because I don't want to use those crystals. It's easy to get like 30 crystals or something like that in just one little run. I just got to farm. But I'm going to go over and get some wabbits. I just don't know where the best place for rabbits are. There's a spot that I can go for bears, and I can also get star ore out of. But I don't need any more star ore. I have over 40,000 stardust right now. I'm not even utilizing it, so I don't need any more of that. Gotta find like the highest concentration of rabbits running around and then just kill everything. I don't. Right across the river, there's some, so I can just go across the river, beat up on some rabbits. Come back, make some more stam food. Because I think I got a lower level stam food right now from deer that I'm running. I'm doing my potions. There's rabbits around here, but if you're not out in the open area, it's a little bit harder to hunt the rabbits when they're here. You have to chase them down. I don't want to chase anything down. I'll go out into the little like desert sections. And the rabbits in this game tend to run for the water. But they'll go in the water, so they actually flip below the water level. You can't really see them once they go in there. With the rabbit meat, or any type of meat, I believe, I can also make the, there's a dish that you can make regarding, there's a dish that you can make to give you 10% more damage against boss mobs. I thought that would work with the prime boss. I don't know if it does. I didn't really pay attention to any of the damage because initially when I popped it, we're just breaking its shield, so I don't know if any of that damage was counted. I need to do it with the dummy and do a DPS test. But again, will the dummy count as a boss, and will it proc the benefit I get from the food? I don't know. Should be levels to the dummy, so there should be a boss level dummy that I can make, so I can see what damage we do against bosses. And this is something I actually really like doing. People generally get irritated because I just run roads sometimes and just farm cars. It's very boring content, so. Not the best content, but I like to run the roads because I do like to get the gas from the cars, and then I just make stardust with it, which is something I don't need right now. I don't know why I do this. It's like a habit of mine or whatever, but I do it anyway. So I'll run the roads and I'll get the gas from the trunks, and then I'll convert it into stardust. I could probably turn it into premium fuel, but I got about 300 premium fuel right now. If I wanted to make the truck or the other truck, I have fuel for a while. I don't really need to do anything with the premium fuel. Plus, the super refinery and the refineries, there's something wrong with it when we log off. Or there was. Maybe they fixed it by now. We did send in tickets about it. The refineries were not producing the same amount of materials that they would produce when you were logged on. So the super refinery will produce from acid 1 gas every half hour. I think it is, or like 5 gas every half hour, whatever it is. But it's supposed to be every half hour, and the regular refineries will do that every hour. Yet the regular refineries I would log on were fine. They were producing what they were supposed to. But if you looked in the super refinery, I would have like 10 gas in there. And that was after like 12 hours. There's no way that should be just 10 gas. So it happened to a couple of the other production items in the game that produce another product, byproduct from something you put into it. It was happening in other ones too. So it's not something exclusive to the super refineries, but it is something exclusive to the way they calculate the byproducts being produced to the amount of time that it's supposed to be produced. Anyway. So the surveys that they're concentrating on now that I saw were about the deviants. That's part of their surveys. And I think that's something that they're working on now, what deviants work and what deviants don't work. And I think there's going to be some changes before the game releases about what deviants are going to be in the game and what deviants may not be in the game based on popularity or usage or whatever it is. I know that they have an exclusive deviants depending on what server you're on. So if you're on a PvE server, you have an exclusive deviant of the bee that helps you farm. If you're on a PvP server, there's two exclusive deviants on each of them that I know of. The Chefsaurus. Our Chefsaurus does the cooking. Their Chefsaurus is for PvP. They also have a pup, what they call the pup. And the pup is a weight. Basically, it will give you a potion called Featherweight, which makes you lighter so you can carry more. Why that's locked in a PvP is beyond me. That seems so stupid because PvEers farm. We gather shit more than PvP players do. So why would you give them something exclusive to lessening the weight that they're carrying and not the PvE server also? Doesn't make any sense to me, but again, it doesn't really need to. They got a reason for it, so I'm assuming. That face so bad. Nothing but windows. Or are they doors? Windows or doors up there? They look like windows. There's too many windows. Not bad. He put a little take on his own stuff. This guy plays Rust, though, I think. That's another thing, too. Like, I wish there was a way to make people build bases that have some kind of aesthetic to them, and functional. Not these... Some people get their territory and they build these massive square bases, and you go inside, and it's a couple workbenches, a couple deviant things, and that's it. And the rest is like vacant. It's completely open. It doesn't look. This is a waste of space. Yeah. For that, I don't know. Why not build multiple bases so that you have a crafting center that is a building just for crafting, and then you have your living space, which has your living room and your kitchen, and you can make a bathroom in the game, but you can't. There's no toilets, although there's toilets in the bathrooms in the game, but you can't get a toilet to put into a bathroom because there's no blueprint for it. They need to fix that though. Like you allow me to get a bathtub. Why would you not allow me to get a toilet so that I can build a proper bathroom? Just small things that I notice. It's not important. I mean, it's not something you need in the game. It would be. You're allowing us to have a bathtub that's functional, that you can go in and take a bath in. Although the animation for the whole bath system is kind of corny looking. It really is. It's bad. It doesn't even look like... It looks like there's water going into it, but then that's coming out of the faucet. But then the appearance of... There's no real appearance of water. It's just like shaded a little bit and makes it look like it's water. It's crazy. It looks stupid. Looks like you're bathing in steam and nothing more than steam. Sorry. So anyway, the bath system, like when you take a bath, it just looks like you're bathing in steam. Not even a lot of steam. Like you could see, you go in and you have your underwear on when you go in the bathroom because of course they don't want you to be naked and you'd be able to see that. But then why not just create an animation for the bathtub that has bubbles and makes it look like water, like Red Dead Redemption does, where you can't see somebody's, you know, then you won't be able to see the underwear. So you'll have the appearance of someone actually taking a bath. I don't know why there's scientists there. You can't do anything there anyway. Can't utilize those machines anymore. You used to be able to get, I think it was like gas and Starcrom out of them, and you can't on the PvE servers. You can't utilize them anymore because you can't control them. There's no way to like farm the stuff like you used to be able to do. They did change things from the second beta to now. I personally think they're okay. Like they did a lot of great changes in the game. They just lack in-game content, and that's really the biggest problem with this game. And yesterday when we were doing a Prime War, a lot of the players who stopped playing came back to do it, but they only came back for the Prime War, the Nightmare Prime War, to see if we can do it. And then they're not playing right now. They're not doing anything. They actually shoot birds in this game, which is weird. He's actually shooting at a bird. That's insane. Where's the big guy at? Where'd he go? I know you're here. Where'd you go? There you are. So as you see, my unstable bomber damage, if it hits a weak spot, I get that crit off of it. If it doesn't hit the weak spot, I don't get the crit. And even if it does hit the weak spot, sometimes I don't get the crit because my crit rate isn't high enough now. So, but you do get some damage off of it. So anyway, before, when you used to kill these guys, you used to be able to take over this oil machine. Start access this panel right here, and you'd be able to get your stuff at a certain amount of production. Anyway, you would be able to access it, and you would get that stuff. And then mainly hives and warbands control those. I don't think there was warbands. It was just hives then. But the hives would control those, and you could sneak in and like farm their stuff, because there was no way for them to control all of them. You know, with just 4 people. I would go in and I would just kill some of them if I saw them. I would kill the warband guys anyway. I would just stay in the shadows. I would use my sniper and I would just take them out. And then I would go in and steal all their stuff. I used to like that though too, because then there was an air of the possibility of you getting killed, so you had that little bit of suspense to it, because you didn't know if a guy was going to show up and try and protect it. For me, for the most part, when I made my build last time, I was a full shrapnel build, and it was really strong, so I didn't have a lot of problems with killing people. I'd mainly one-shot them, even if they were like 20 levels higher than me, I would still be able to kill them. I had a really good build in the V2. And I thought this unstable bomber's not bad. It's just, you're limited again, because I don't have the jacket. One more second, please. Excuse me. And since I don't have the jacket, I'm losing out on a 40% damage increase, you know, or crit chance, 40% crit chance, and possibly, we're talking in the tens of thousands of damage per mob. Just not going to chase rabbits. Well, I am, but I'm not going to chase them when I hear them going by, because it's like, here goes. Swinging a miss. That's another area. I guess I'm coming out of the area now. And another thing that they're having it, you know, gold. There's supposed to be a gold farm somewhere where you can get gold, but I haven't found it yet. A place that that they said that, you know, where you can get the gold. I went there and I didn't see any gold there. Maybe it was farmed out when I got there. I don't know, but I didn't see it, and I didn't bother going back to that area. Gold has a chance of spawning near the tungsten, or in place of one of the tungsten spawns. That, you know, the grouping of 3 tungstens at a time. And I think that's the only chance. I don't think there's any spot you can go to that's guaranteed to have gold in it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think there is. So. Yeah. Actually, I should have went to the bear farm anyway. I need to make a lot of food and then sell it so I can get my links back up, because see, you hear them. I'm not really seeing too much. He's blending so well. Nice oil. You can find some oil if you want. And then they did something with the pickup button. Because again, you're supposed to press the pickup button and it'll auto farm that. Like it'll, you know, go through the... You won't have to hold the button is what I'm saying. And then it'll open it up. But it stops every now and then. I don't know what that's about either. There's an issue in here, the game. It'll probably happen when I get into an area that I gotta loot a lot of stuff. You'll see... I'll highlight something to loot it, I'll press to loot it, and it won't loot it, and then it unhighlights it, but the circle still shows for the object, but you no longer see the name of the object, and you can't pick it up. If you go right next to it and you can pick something up and you do pick it up, then that object then becomes pick up again. You'll be able to pick it up again. It's weird. It's a weird, goofy ass button in the game. It's annoying as shit. Damn, man. It's that early morning stuff. Go this way. Farming. See? I hear 'em. Don't cheat a little guys. There it is. And I really wish they would have had the gold crossbow in this game, like it says it's here. I mean, this one right here. But I don't know of anybody who's gotten it, and I don't know if you can even get this in the game. But it has unstable bomber, and I would have loved this. Run this with Little Jaws, or even Jaws, the handgun. But I would run this with like Little Jaws, just to get that. More consistent damage, I think. And then all these cars, you can't even loot most of them. They look good, but you can't loot them. Make them all lootable. They're having a problem with when text pops up. There's it auto scrolls through the text, and it does it so rapidly it's almost impossible to read it. We're supposed to fix that. They haven't fixed that out. I'm just hoping these small little things are not in the game, because they're going to bother people if they are in the game on release. Something like that is if you're lure, if you're one of the people who love lure, you're going to be pissed off at that when you go to read something and it scrolls through it so fast you can't read it because of the auto scroll that it has. On some of them, they changed it so you could stop the auto scroll, but on other ones that were already in the game, they didn't change that shit, so you can't read it. It still auto scrolls through like crazy. Like I said, if you're lure friendly, you're going to be mad as shit because you're not going to be able to learn the lure because you can't read the damn thing. Some of the puzzles that they had where you were required to read things, they gave you a hint of like what number it would be for a code at the end. They would scroll through so fast you had to keep reading it over and over again, and you would read 3 or 4 words and then have to restart it again, and then read the next 3 or 4 words and then have to restart it again. It's just a pain in the ass. That's how fast it was scrolling by. And their voice acting and the well, yeah, there are cutscenes where there's voice acting in it. They're atrocious. They're horrible. The voice acting is just so bad. I bet you I know right where Looney's talking about with the Star Tracer. There's two spots to go to where you can get semi decent Star Tracer that I know of, and I'm sure one of them is what they're talking about. But you can go to the one where the bears and the rabbits are, and you can just sit there and farm food to while you're at it. After this, I'm just gonna go down to the newbie area, kill a bunch of deer, and just farm all the meat, and then make the food and sell it. Guess not. Where the wabbits? Where the wabbits at? Silly wabbit. I'm hunting wabbit. Be very, very quiet. I don't see many animals at all. There's probably rabbits out there somewhere, but I'm not chasing rabbits through all that. Nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. That'd be cool too. You hear them snakes? So they're not in the game. You can't find a snake. I've never seen a snake in the game. But it would be cool if there is a snake and you go by it and you can get bit. So you gotta heal. Snakes are cool. Like I said, they have like some birds in the game. Yeah. And you can kill them, but they just sit in the air. They don't. After you kill them, like they don't drop to the ground, and you don't get anything from them. So. I think it might be there for aesthetics because you hear all the birds in the background, so they try to put some birds in so that people will be like, "Oh, there is some birds in the game." It's got to be birds. You're gonna put these sounds in the game. You should make the snakes, get the birds, make sure they're there. You would think it would be right here. But no damn snake. Also, on top of that, they're going to be doing cosmetics, so they're going to make money off of the cosmetics. There's no doubt about that. But they should also do companion pets, which follow you around. They don't actually do anything. It's just a pet that follows you around. They should do that. Maybe like a little, I don't know, goofy-looking pet that'll follow you around. Maybe you can get a dog or, I don't know, cat, whatever the hell it is. You know, like in Guild Wars 2, they have them. And then you can sell as a premium item, right? A premium cosmetic, since you have cosmetics. A pet that picks up items for you. So, anything that deals with you having to open something up, the pet will not pick up. But there's a lot of loose trash that lays around in the buildings and all that you have to manually pick up. The pet should be able to pick that stuff up. But anything that requires you to open it, like this, like something like this, the pet would pick up. It's random. It's just there. But when you go into a storage crate, the pet won't loot the storage crate because you have to actually open it yourself. And maybe it'll loot it after you open it or something like that. It can loot it. So you can just open it up and then not worry about having to press to loot it. Maybe the pet can loot it or whatever. But you still gotta, open it up. Car trunk, same thing. Like you open it up, see how the loot pops up, the pet would just grab that right away. And then you don't have to worry about focusing so much time on grabbing trash that's laying all over the place. The pet will pick it up and you'll be able to play the game. Be a little bit more invested in the game and your character. Because a lot of the looters just get to the box, get the loot, and then go on about your business, and you don't invest into the character at all. But this has an MMO element to it too, so you should invest into the character. You should have some kind of, attachment to your character. Not just the loot. There's a fine balance with games. This will appeal to looter shooters, absolutely. People who love the loot, this appeals to them. I'm one of those people. This will appeal to the MMO aspect of a lot of people because it has MMO elements to it. It'll appeal to the FPS part of people because it has the FPS. People who play Division 2 will like it because it's, third person. It's got the Division 2 elements to it. Things like that. There should be people who like stealth. This is not the game for you, to be honest with you. The stealth mechanics in the game are simply line of sight, and that's it. And the line of sight is only attached to the first mob that you shoot. So, give you a prime example. Rosetta spawns in 2 to 3 mobs always, right? They're aggro-wise, all those mobs are attached to each other. So if you stealthily kill the first mob because it doesn't see you, or you snipe it from a distance, doesn't matter. The other 2 mobs that are near it, insta aggro on you, and even if you're like you're not seen, you didn't even see those other 2 mobs. You go into a building and you hide in a building. Those mobs will come into that building looking for you. They know exactly where you are. So the stealth mechanics in the game are only line of sight and only apply to the first mob that you shoot. The other mobs that are near that mob or have, or like paired to that mob, they will aggro you. Doesn't matter. They will find out where you are and they will aggro you. So, somebody was like, stealth mechanics are only attached to the crossbow right now, which could be, a possibility. But I've seen where I've hit one mob with the crossbow, it kills it, and the second mob automatically starts shooting at me, even though it can't see me. So it's line of sight, and the aggro is attached to all the mobs in that area. Because you use the boom boom, right? So I had the boom boom on my other account. I used the boom boom, which is an RPG or LMG that does fire damage, like extra fire damage. And if I hit a mob, everything in the area aggroes me. Everything. It all aggroes me. Doesn't matter where it is. Comes from out of nowhere, and I got to kill like 20 mobs. It's very bad aggro system with the animals too. Hit one animal, right? You're silent, stealthy. Boom. Hit one animal. Look at that. Everything starts to immediately aggro. Bad system. You're hitting one with a crossbow. How do they automatically know where you're at? I'm not built for the crossbow, so I'm not doing the extra damage or anything to these. Straight crossbow damage at this point. By the way, that is similar to the aggro of all the Rosetta mobs. You hit one, the other two instantly aggro. It doesn't matter where they're at. So very bad. Has no stealth mechanics whatsoever. Silencers don't matter. The silencers only give you bonuses to your range. They have nothing to do with whether or not there's detection involved in it, whether somebody hears the shot, you know, or any of that. That's it. You shoot, you hit one, the aggro automatically goes into the other two, and they know exactly where you are, and they start to pursue you. So no stealth mechanics at all. Zero. Now, with the Deviants, you can sneak up behind them and you can do a backstab. You can do that with the Rosetta too. But as soon as you kill one of the Rosettas, if they're paired to another Rosetta soldier, it'll instantly aggro you. So the stealth mechanic's not there. Why even put that in the game? They really got to work on that part because you're missing out on players who like stealth. You know, you can have builds solely built around stealth. There's a set of armor in the game that will make you invisible for a certain period of time, and I think there's a potion that does the same thing. If you kill anything, though, you become invisible. But that plays into the whole stealth mechanics, right? You got to incorporate that. You know, if you're invisible and you walk up to a Rosetta soldier, and I do a backstab on a Rosetta soldier, it doesn't matter whether I was invisible or not. Whether I'm hiding behind a pillar to kill the one and the other one can't see me, they will aggro me irregardless. They'll come and try and kill me. So, poor stealth mechanic. Very poor. So you're losing out on some of the stealth players. And there's a lot of people that like stealth games, you know. Splinter Cell, things like that. I mean, those games were so popular. I'm gonna go left. I'm not gonna go up. Left. I guess some Star Crown area. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let's stop that. Put an end to that real quick. So we don't have that issue. Switch back out to my shotgun just in case I run across someone. You know, it's just easier to handle with shotgun. So in these polluted areas, there's a possibility of star. I don't see a lot of it most of the time in these areas. I really don't. You'll see it occasionally. There are, like I said, certain areas where you'll specifically see Star Trace for. So it's just that one little area. That's it. And that background ambient noise is so irritating. Ugh. That right there, that sound. Why that? Why that sound? And why so obnoxiously loud over everything else? Just completely loud. Like you don't know, you get a beep from your cradle when you're in these areas, so even that is annoying, the beep. And a constant beep that you get. Beep, beep. Exactly. It's such a low rumble. It's irritating if you hear this all the time. And if you're farming like polluted water to do that farm for the acid, it's such an annoying thing. Some people say some people prepare it or whatever. I guess they deal with it, but who wants to listen to that shit all day? And then if you turn your sound effects down, everything goes down. So there's not like a separate setting for the background ambient noise. That shit. The There should be a separate setting for that, so you can shut it off. Damn rabbits now. I ain't seen an animal in how long? No silly rabbits, man. Tricks are for kids. Oh, there you go. There's a dog. Any gold? Oh yeah, gold right here. Yeah, see, this is another thing too. It's like random so much. So I can make this. There's this thing like a tuner, I think it's called, or some shit. It's like a divining rod, basically, that you create that will show nodes, but it only shows specific things. It's weird. Like, you should be able to make one that detects gold, solely gold, and use that to detect where gold is as you're prospecting. But they don't have that. That's another missed opportunity for an item in the game that would be very useful for people. And I have the top. I had spec'd into it to grab the top one, and then I spec'd back out of it afterwards. After I made them, but I gave them to the guy yesterday because it's better for him to know where the nodes are in his area. Anyway, it's weird because there's like little tiny things in the game that we notice. They're worried about major bug fixes and all now because they want to get the game out. They want to get the game out by the summertime, and I understand that. But these little tiny things are just quality of life stuff that are very important in video games. Because usually quality of life stuff gets skipped over to just get a game out when it's it's not as important. They'll take care of that later on down the road. But some things they never fix. Like, I'll give you a prime example. Rust. Rust will let you build helicopters. You used to be able to, but it'll let you build all kinds of stuff like amazing electrical circuits and all kinds of shit that you can build in Rust. But you can't melt snow in the snow biome in a water purifier to get water out of it. So that you don't have to go to a river in the snow biome in order to get water to survive. In a survival game, now mind you. You can't melt snow. There's no mechanic to melt snow. And it would be the easiest fix in the world. You just create a resource where you, like you do with all the other nodes, you have a resource node that you basically, need a bucket. And you gather snow, and then you take that bucket, you put it on the water purifier that they have that can melt snow, and then you just melt snow for water. You don't have an issue. But nope. I mean, this game's been around for what, 10 years now, and they still can't melt snow in the fucking game. I really don't get something like that. Like, their entire development team never thought about melting snow to get water in the snow biome. Like, are you kidding me? None of you guys? But you thought about making rocket launchers and all kinds of other shit and homing missiles? What the fuck? That's how I know that Rust's development team, although does a lot of stuff for the game and always puts out content, is a joke because they don't think about the most simplest things that would make the game that much easier to play. They think about these intricate systems that make the game more complicated to play, but are geared towards casual players too. Not towards the regular players, but towards casual players. Should I go over and around and nope. I go this way. So it's just I don't know. I don't get the common sense bullshit in the game. Like there's common sense in the game. If you can't recognize that when you're building a game, and again, developers aren't going to think of everything, but you would think in 10 years they would have thought of that, right? We're talking about Rust. Okay. So you would think in 10 years that they thought about that shit at least once. At least one developer out of the hundreds or thousands of developers that they've had over the course of their 10-year run would have thought, "Oh, let me make it so that snow can be turned into water in the snow biome, instead of them having to go to a river to get water." What? Really that difficult? Is it that hard? Because they recreated, and I'll tell you why I know it's not. I'll tell you why I know snow can melt in the biome, because when you put your fireplace down, they made it so that the animation shows like the area around the fire is melted. Yet you can't take snow, put it in a bucket over the fire, and melt the snow. You just have the animation of it attached to the fire. But it doesn't. It's like instantaneous. So when you light the fire, the area is already automatically melted around it. It's not even like a gradual melting, like an animation of a gradual melting of the snow around it. It's just like instantaneous. It's literally part of the animation. I'm telling you, I don't get it. That has been I've been playing since experimental days in Rust, and that has been a pet peeve of mine since then, that you cannot melt fucking snow for water. The easiest resource, if you're in the snow biome, to actually find water for, or get water from. The easiest resource, because it's abundant. It's everywhere in the snow biome. The whole ground is covered in snow. I'm telling you, it's just, that's why I say, like, I notice the small things in the game that are really like detail oriented, that would bring a lot more to it. Literally would bring a lot more to the game. People would notice it. And in the beta 2, there wasn't enough cars on the road. There weren't these trash piles like this either. So there wasn't enough cars on the side of the road. There wasn't enough things on the side of the road. So they added a lot of this, like this. And I think there was buses occasionally, but it wasn't a lot. And they added this kind of stuff, which was great, right? Adds a little bit more flavor to the game. But then all those new cars that you added, none of them are lootable. The ambulance, why are the ambulances that are on the side of the road that are abandoned? Why don't you have some of them lootable that contain the medical products that you get in the billion medical bags that you find around? Why is there a billion medical bags around in buildings all over the place, right? Where you can get the stems, these. Hold on. Where you can get these, the activators. Yet, not one of the ambulances that are on the side of the roads that you can find have a medical bag in them. Not one. Not one. Zero. It's crazy. It's like insane. You put them in the game, you know, a perfect opportunity to develop the game even more, to make it more in-depth and more immersive, right? More immersive. And it's a missed opportunity. Now, they might do it later. They might make some of these cars more lootable, I guess. I don't know. I put in a whole list of suggestions for them to do. I don't know if they're going to listen to me, but I've fucking been gaming a long time. I know what I'm talking about. You know, I'm not a new gamer, just impressed with graphics and all that other shit. I've been playing a long time. I know what works in video games and what doesn't work. I've seen games. We've called it. You know, when I was running my guild or my clan, we'd be like, that game's going to fail. And sure enough, the game would fail. Because it just, you're taking away elements of a game that pull you into it. These types of games, man, you got so much that can pull you into your character and the development of your character, and you care about your character, and you want to see your character do well in the game. And you just make these simple little basic mechanics of the game to appease the people who want everything now, the generation of give it to me now, I will need it immediately. And then any kind of character development or story development in the game gets lost in that shit. Because you're appealing to a give it to me now fucking generation. They want everything now. Great game. I'm telling you right now, my favorite game. This is absolutely 100% my favorite game. It has every aspect of the genres that I like the big stuff in the genres that I really like. It's just the small details. I want to see it. I want to see them small details. I do. I want to become immersive in this giant universe or giant world that you're creating. I shouldn't say universe, but this world that you're creating. I want to be immersed in it. I want to see value of exploring areas like this, you know? Instead of just because I know there's a loot box there. Give me a reason to go into these areas and actually explore. And that's the problem that we're having with people right now leaving the game. They rush through the content and they don't even take. I get pissed off when I see it. I'm not even gonna lie. I really do get angry when I see people in game asking for shit that they can just go out and farm and actually experience the world that the devs created, that they took time creating. You know, as a dev, I would be mad every time I saw somebody rush through my content, because I would be like, why did I spend 3 weeks building this world, this one section of the world, this one mountain or whatever, or took hours out of my day to do it, for people to not even notice it, for people not to want to explore it. You got shit like this. You got this massive archway, right? Great. Give me a reason to go up the archway and explore. You know? Give me a reason to explore those things. Instead of just running by them. Give me a reason to appreciate the time that you put into the game. So when people run through the game now, it's only because there's not enough on the side to offer these people. Nobody's doing all their side quests. The people that rush to the end game to get the best, they're not going back and doing their quests. I'm telling you, not all of them. That's why I force myself to stay in the area until I complete it, until I'm done the area. I know you're gonna have more quests, and I know you're gonna put more quests in the game. I have no doubt that you're gonna do that. But it just would have been nice in the beta to have the areas that were open be flooded with quests and all, so that people just don't skip past them. This area of the game down here near Deadsville, down here, flooded with quests that you can do that pull you into almost all these areas that, your first starter area, because all this other shit is blocked initially when the server goes live. It's all time gated. But this first area has a ton of quests in it, right? And it pulls you in to explore. But there's no reason to go to some of these areas. You can literally do all your quest line down here for your main quest and never go to the hospital right here to visit the hospital and play one of the best puzzles that you have in the game, right? Very, very good puzzle with the dates, and you gotta go through the rooms to change the dates on the calendar to get down to the date that you need to, and then you got to talk on the phone again, and then that's when you get out of the hospital, or you could stay there trapped in that forever if you don't recognize that you need to look for the dates and all on the calendar, and then that tells you which door to go through. Great puzzle, but you don't have to do it. Don't even have to do it. Bypass it altogether. Never even do that puzzle. And there's people who haven't done the puzzle. Some people have, some people haven't. Newer players just recreating their character, they don't go up there and do that puzzle. They just run through it. Because they're trying to get to the next area so they can get their next benches up, so they can get their better armor and their better guns. And you time gated the area, right? So the whole entire, this is Black Flag. The whole entire area is time gated. You would expect to, or you would expect that people would explore. But it's only time gated, then the time gate leaves, and then you're, what is this? I don't even know if I was ever here. Oh, that's the boss mob right there. Yeah, give me that. Get over here, buddy. Die right there. Anyway, like you have the areas time gated, and then when they open up, you're gonna have people just bypassing a lot of the stuff. There's nothing fun to find. For me, there was, but for them, they don't see it, you know, a worthwhile objective to go searching for things. They just want to get to the next area. And you're always going to have players like that in the game, but I mean, there's an incentive to exploring. The incentive should be the gold weapons and the gold armor and the better, you know, the epic gear. That should be already in the game. It should be not locked behind that gacha system. I'm gonna keep fucking saying it until it changes. I don't like the entire gacha fucking game. I don't like the fact that all the best gear is gated behind that. It's a horrible fucking system, and it just, everyone talks about it. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people think it's okay. Most people, I know most people don't think it's okay. So, you may get people that won't say that shit, but they've talked about it. They don't like it. They don't like the fact that they can't get the best items, and they can't build the build that they want to build because you time gated the shit out the items. And then you fucking nerfed. You did stealth updates that nerfed builds. Like, come on, man. The boom boom. You nerfed the fuck out of the boom boom to the point where it's not even a great weapon anymore. It was at one point. Now it's just a shit weapon. Some people still like it, but you did nerf the damage. So, I mean, it's better than nothing, but. There has to be a significance to getting the gold. If you get lucky and you get a gold weapon, like it has to be that much more powerful, and it should be. There's nothing in here. I don't know. Pull my weapon out. There's stuff here. This is free loot right here, so there's no mobs here to stop you. Here and there, great. If you're low level and you need to move up, and you don't know where to farm for the stuff that you need for this tier of gear and weapons and armor and all, this is where you want to come and farm. You can do this approximately 3 times a day. See that? Can't pick it up. Why can't I pick it up? It was bugged. But you can do this approximately, I think 3 times a day total. I think it's like it resets like every 8 hours, or maybe even more than that. But all of this is lootable. So every dresser that's here is lootable. And you get the parts that you need to upgrade. And you get platinum crystals and some of the stuff, like the loot boxes. You'll get your platinum crystals. You'll get blueprints out of the game that you can utilize. A lot of blueprints you can get in here. There's a good loot area. couple places in Blackfell that have extremely a lot of loot in a small section. The blue house that's over here, which I'll be going to, has a ton of loot that you can loot. This has a nice amount of loot that you can loot. There's your bulletproof fabric that people are always looking for. And again, it's free loot. If you're low level and you can't go do the house and the other places that I'm going to be going to, then you come here, and this is all you do. You come here, you know, and then you go and do some of your questing. You wait until it resets, and then you come back here and you do it again. And if I'm right about the 3 times a day, because I think it's every 8 hours, so it'll reset in between, maybe. Go to sleep, come back the next day, do it again. Get done work and you come home and you want to jump in a game, go right over here and loot this out. Why wouldn't you? There's people that don't come over here at all and loot it. I just don't get it. It's free fucking loot. Like, why are you not going to get it? It's free. You're not doing anything. You're just running over. Now, when you get into this area, this is when you got to start killing mobs. So if you're low level, I would stay away from here unless you got like a really good weapon that you can utilize. Like you can come over here early on with Boom Boom. It'll take you a full clip to kill someone. Maybe that bug will happen again. Nice if they fix it. There you go. See that? That's the bug. That's their bug. So you'll get this. Now this is a lootable object, but I can't loot it. It'll highlight it, right? Sometimes you'll even see the circle. There it is. There's the circle. But you cannot actually loot that item. Can't loot it. So, if there's something else that I can loot, and I don't think this will reset it, but like if there was like another object that I can loot, I think that resets it. But if you're near it and you can loot another object, it'll pick that up because it pulls the objects that are around the area. But only if you can loot. Like right now, I'd have to leave and come back, and that might get reset. See if there's another object around here that I can right there. So let me try and loot this stuff. Right now, this should be lootable again after I did that. Nope. It might only apply to the area in which you're looting. But yep, that's the bug, and that's an irritating fucking bug because you want to move on, but if you're loot heavy like I am, you see that, and you're like, that sucks. Now I can't loot. And when I noticed it at first, it really seemed like it was the new object. Like there was a bunch of different loot items that were in the game this time that weren't in the last game, or at least different animations of it, like a different version of it. It looked more, I don't know, more graphically appealing. Here's an aggro that's really weird. This right here. So I'll kill this person. Maybe I'll kill this person. This aggro. I do not like this. This is a shotgun, and yet I was hitting the fucking railing the whole time with every bead, and it wasn't going through. Some areas you can shoot through it, some areas you can't. I don't know. It's another thing. Like, there's some gates that you can shoot through, but you can't shoot through other gates. Like, one chain link fence I'll be able to shoot through, but another one I won't be able to shoot through. What? It's a chain link fence. It's pellets. The chances of a chain link fence blocking a bunch of pellets from going through? Nah. Doesn't work that way. Maybe 2 objects in here, and then nothing else. And then a box upstairs. For some reason, the deviants don't aggro like Rosetta does. For the most part, they are literally like, you can kill these single, you know, one by one at distance, and the other mobs won't aggro. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think it depends on whether you're in a building, whether they're applying some kind of like sound aggro to the mobs, and you know they hear you shoot. Maybe? I don't know. But deviants, it's not the same. Like Rosetta's will attack in groups. So with the deviants, if you're too close and you get spotted by the light guys. The searchlight guys, they do that. They'll aggro a bunch of mobs too. He cut back just as I shot. It was nice. I like that. It's funny because sometimes the head movements are erratic, so you'll go to shoot and they cut just as you shoot. Look at that. Right on. And I hit the friggin' invisible wall there. Try to excuse this little tiny bug that happens like it happened in that other place as them trying to slow down people like spamming the loot Might cause some lag issues on the server, input lag issues on the server when everyone's doing it. That don't make any sense. That's another thing too. You can get items out in the world like that, but you cannot repair that item unless you make the item yourself. You can't repair any of it. I don't know why. If I can repair a heavy duty mace that I made, I can repair a heavy duty mace that I found. That is fucking just plain stupid, to be honest with you. I mean, common fucking sense says if you can repair a heavy duty mace that you create, you can repair the same exact heavy duty mace that you find. Like that shouldn't even be a thing. Love the loot. Love the loot. Love to loot. Yes, I do. This is a good area to loot into. A lot of people miss a lot of these small things. I don't know why that guy's doing that. He doesn't, unless he's there, he doesn't benefit from having his turrets just killing random shit. He doesn't benefit. Doesn't get the items. I know he's doing a polluted water farm, but then turn off your... it doesn't really hit, and it's got a weird hit marker to it. The mobs you would think were stronger, like 2 hit. The normal mobs that you would think are weak take 4 hits. Then crazy. This is a good one. Backpacks full. Son of a bitch. I should be able to set up my camp. We should be able to port to our camps like this right here. That's my territory, but I have my camp set up right here, but you can't port to it. Look, I can't get to that camp. And that's another thing that I suggested to them. The camp has a tent and a sleeping bag in it, yet you can't sleep there. The camp is just a placeholder in case you have to have it acts as a respawn point if you die. In this game, let me see if I can see my stats with deaths and all. I didn't die a whole lot, so it's literally like that's kind of pointless because I don't need it anyway. I don't even need to camp at that point. Let's see. What's your stat on your deaths? I don't know. Let's see. There's got to be a way to tell how many times you died. I haven't looked for it. Anyway, I haven't died a lot in the game. Enough to really justify using the fucking campsite at all. I barely put the campsite down ever. If I'm trying to mark a place, then I put it down so I know where I was. Big boy's out. He'll fucking box me out and he's out. He'll kick me right out of here. Can lunch me. This stuff right here. Boom. Deviation. This is good actually. This is for extra damage to bosses when I make this. Grab up all the shit that I don't need and sell it to. Herbal tea. This is supposed to give you energy and hydration, remain full for 2 hours, but I don't see that. I mean, The energy, I think, applies to your health, right? So your health won't go down. I don't know. Maybe it's stamina, but I haven't seen the energy work on this. The hydration I've seen work on this, but not the energy. Not 100% sure what the energy is. A lot of this shit I just make because it's there. Big man, make that shit. Work it out. Work it out, work it out, work it out, man. Love that fucking deviant though. I ain't gonna lie, that's the fucking cutest fucking deviant in the game. That and the bumblebee smiling at you. Right? But that thing, big fluffy ass thing just running around. You can't help but smile with that shit. Alright, I got a lot of cane meat I can take over and get rid of here. Which I'm going to. I won't get rid of my stand meat, but I'm getting rid of all that other shit. Alright, buddy, I'll be back. I'm gonna make a run over here and then I shall be back, my friend. Thank you very much. Come again. So anyway, the game has so many aspects that people love. Building, farming. It's just it's an all-around crowd pleaser. That's what I call games like this. All-around crowd pleaser. Because you can find something that you like in it no matter what genre you play in. Consumables. You know what? This is gone. Yep. You're gone. You gone. You gone. Let me make sure I'm getting rid of the right stuff. You can go too. Might keep you. Nope. I'm gonna get rid of you too. You're staying. You're staying. You're gone. You're gone. You're gone. What was it? Yep, you're gone. You're gone. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that. Keeping you. You can go. Wait, hold on. Yeah, you can go. I'll just keep you just to have you. And there you go. Just like that, I went from what, 10,000 energy links to 168,000 energy links. Easy money. But at the end of the game again, you don't need it unless you're upgrading shit. So getting all those energy, there's people in the game that had like 4 million energy links because they're selling shit. Never gonna use it. Never gonna purchase that much shit with energy links. So it's a waste. You should only do that when you need it. When you need them extra energy links because you're like upgrading something and it's 20,000 energy links to upgrade. It's the only time you should use that shit. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. Minute and 20 seconds. But I'm here, so there's no sense in on. One from there, announcements. And then once humans get an announcement. For what? What? That was the announcement, something in the shop. Get the fuck out of here. That's why I don't like Discord. I'm getting alerts for no reason whatsoever. Some bullshit. Look, we got a new thing in the shop that you had on your like I had effects on my my profile or whatever it is in Discord, and they started charging for different effects, so they took the effects off of what I had on there. And now I don't have no effects, but I did have them for months since I'm a Nitro user, and they took them off, and now you gotta pay for them. Like, why would you give me something and take it away, and now I gotta fucking pay for it? Fuck you out of here. Fuck you, Discord. Now you can eat a dick. Yep, you'll hear me talk like this a lot in stream, because I'm not trying to monetize my fucking stream anyway. But yeah, that shit is annoying when you get that. Like, come on. Now you just made me have to go through this again. Like, I have to go and redo all my shit. You took, something that was mine away from me. Anytime you get a company that does that predatory shit, I don't fuck with them. So I don't like it. Still don't to this day. And it's because of stupid shit like that. Because I knew the company would do something like that. I knew they would monetize the shit out of their stuff. You took my stuff away that I already had to monetize it, and then to offer it back. Like, I'm not paying for it. No. Hate you. Damn baby spiders again. Can't stand those things. Irritating as shit and quite freaky, to be honest with you. Very, very freaky. Very freaky. Down to the blue house. To the blue. Oh no, I never finished reading this. Bunch of games right now. Baby spider! Crosshair shit that I don't like. Crosshair gonna be right on an object, and if you turn around, you're near a door or whatever. If you're shooting from the left, it'll just hit the wall frame instead. Whether in third person, whether the crosshair is on the object or not. Or you're gonna hit whatever it is that's in front of you before you hit the don't even know where the spot is for this to hit. I think it's right on that nodule, right on its arm. All the mobs just disappeared, but they're still here. Don't get it twisted. Right. Just something weird happens. That shit. Oh, now I can't loot anything. Look. What the fuck? Maybe now I can. There it goes. Here goes the glitches in the game. Now, how often? Now. What makes you think that people aren't going to be mad about this, not being able to loot this? Look, I'm pressing F non-stop and it will not let me loot it. Now let's see if I can do it. Nope, can't do it. Can't. I can pick that up. Oh, finally. This. Now, let's try something. Next game. Relog in. Let's see if this shit works. Right? So if I relog in and I can loot it, it's a bug in the fucking game. Has nothing to do with me. It's just resetting when I go to log back in. That's the type of shit that's going to ruin. If that's in the game when it goes live, people will get pissed off at that. Because that's a loot box, right? You don't know what you're going to get out of that. So you're like, oh, I want to get that loot box. I mean, I'm here. I killed the shit to get the loot box. Why can't I loot it? So it was never a loot box to begin with. It was a mob. And the mob was bugged. Make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, you might as well say, could you be mine? That is a skeevy ass song. It's Mr. Rogers. Dude was weird as shit. That's like a stalker song and shit. If you're talking nowadays. Back then. Desktop PC? What? There we go. Back then, which is weird. This is a nice house. So there's a lot of movements here. There's another one. I seen how they did it though. To make this lootable, you see that they copied the furniture and they tried to match it up, but It's not matched up. So it was the only way whoever did this before to get that as a lootable. I don't know why. You would have to replace them. But that's what they did. See, right here. That was another thing. They did it right here. So it's like double everything just so they can make a lootable. They just need to fix that. Nobody wants to see double items. Sound of the shotgun was firing, but the shotgun was beautiful work. Pretty sure there's nothing in there. Could be. I don't think there is. So I think we're at the edge of the save zone, and that's why that don't make a lot of sense to me though, because there's some mobs still around here. Yeah, we're at the save zone edge. That's that. That's it. That's it. Stretch it out. Yeah. All right. think that's stacked again. Hold on. I don't think that's stacked again. Fucking planet crystals. I don't know. I have an issue with stacking sometimes, and you lose whatever you're trying to stack. Stupid. But just another fucking glitch in the game. So I should have had about 50 or 60 crystals, and now I don't. Because of that. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it, though. Yeah, good looking out. Yeah. So. Fucking joke. Rip me off of my crystals once again. Thank you very much. Chubby. Why does it sound like I get a message or something yet? I don't see anything there, but it's showing that I have something. What the hell is that? Must be somebody posting something. Those are standard industry settings. People complain about the most mundane shit. Standard settings for stuff like relax. It's not that bad. I just don't like fucking Discord making background noise all the time. I know I can shut that off, but I don't even feel like the headache of doing it. Some dividends, some not dividends, and I never planned it. You son of a... Fucking bees, traffic. Son of a... What? Oh, motherless goats, man. You guys are fucking irritating. Woo! Yeah. Get that sneeze in. Oh yeah, feel good. Let's see. What should I grow? I know mushrooms gotta go in, so that's a no-brainer right there. Now what? Think I might need some more alcohol. I'm not sure though. Oil seeds. I got the... Yeah, I'll plant 2 of those right here. Oil seeds. Alright, now, let's see. What do I want? was that? I don't like when I see that when I play the game, because that was a MS DOS. That was a DOS window. I know there's nothing on my system, so something must have been updating, but still, for that to pop up, overlay, like that, I think that comes from the game itself. That's sketchy as fuck. And I got that on stream, so I'm gonna look later on and see exactly what that was. So around. Can't go back for it. I can't go back for it. I'll figure it out. I want to test this out and see what this does. That lasts actually quite a long time. It's not that slow. I might not notice that if something's happening and I'm standing behind it, how fast, how long that lasts. It seemed like it lasted a significant portion of time. Enough to get healed up, I guess. Would you like cheese? Nah, I don't need to do that. Plenty. Now I'm fucking bored again because there's really nothing to do. Once you get to this level and then you get all the shit, you just don't have shit to do. It's just boring then. I can go back through areas and fight stuff and try and find other objects, but I'm not going to find anything that I really need. Like, I don't need anything from my house anymore. Maybe just the... it won't be on this character, it's on my It's like an air conditioning unit that you're putting in there. I might already have it. Who knows? Can't use that. Can't use that. You got all these items that you find in the game that you can put down, but I mean they're pointless for the most part. Well, I can go check my generator, see if I have my bedroom. Remember what I told you about this? I think I can. Yeah, there you go. Watch this. This is what I have a problem with. Now, it looks like there's water going into it, right? Because you get that dark area down there. But there's no texture to it, so you can't even tell if that was water. You really can't. Like, you can't see. And then you can get in, and this is what happens. Right? The water should come all the way up. There should be bubbles so that you can't see any of your underwear or any of that stuff. And that should be the end of it. It doesn't even look like I'm in water. Like, it doesn't look like water at all. Just looks like I'm sitting in there and they try to do an animation of water and there's no water whatsoever. Nothing. So, kind of weird, but I'm never gonna run out of water. I don't need to fill it up yet. Did I get these yet? No. Let me get some acid and some wood. Put oil somewhere. There it is. I'll do these before I forget. So what I was saying about the bathroom, like there's no urinal whatsoever. Like there's nowhere to go pee. It's that. So you fill it with other stuff, which is what I did. But I can't really, like there's nothing in this. This looks like plain. There should be stuff that we could place in here to make it look a little bit more used. This computer screen should work, right? Why add a computer if you can't turn it on? Or if it's not on, where you see something on the screen. Probably all little things like they may change. And it'll be good if they do. So now back to nothing really to do. Nothing that I want to do. Nothing in the game that is there. I've explored just about everywhere, so exploration isn't anything that I really need to do. I have all my teleportation points. I've done all the questing in the game. The only thing that's left is what you see in that left hand corner, which is the season goals, and I don't really care about those. Yeah. Where did I get this from, though? Has to be from something. I already had the crank, so that must mean that I can upgrade something, though. the very the very fact this says hit Manny Bus's weak spots 5,000 times tells you how freaking strong or how much damage. It's a bullet sponge and how much bullets you're gonna waste trying to do this. It's yeah. So the following will be directly inherited to the new season, right? Star Crown, Star Source, the Mark, Stellar Planet, Equipment Blueprints, and its Star. So blueprint fragments, weapon accessories, mods, furniture formulas, fashion appearance, right? Character pinch, face data, whatever the fuck that means. Building house blueprints, which we don't have any blueprints. You can't even make a blueprint of your building. Main line, branch line, journey complete. Okay, so, and then friend relationships. So the following content will be transferred to Eternal Lands Depot before the start of the next season. The player can strategically choose to carry some of the resources to open a new journey together to provide their own growth. Weapon, armor, regular resources such as materials, medicine, bullets, etc. Right. In addition to the above, the rest of the data, such as level, energy link, map, and stronghold, will not be inherited. So you don't get any of your energy links. You don't get your levels. You don't get your map and stronghold exploration, whatever that is. Season, or I know what that is. Anyway, season challenge, task progress, right? So that all restarts, which is fun. Common research test season inheritance rules do not represent the final version. We will continue to optimize the season inherit experience on feedback. So none of this is actually implemented right now. But this is like automatically inherited. This is like automatically inherited too, I believe. I don't really know. Like again, they just said it. They said, you know, the ship might not be. I didn't find this one or this one or this one. I haven't found either of those or those three deviants, and I don't even fucking care to. How can you avoid the lightning treant hard mode? I don't think you can. I think you're gonna get struck regardless. There's a mastery, I think, that if he gets struck, you get healed or some shit. But other than that, I don't think there is. Been on for 3 hours. I'm gonna take a break and then grab something to eat, some breakfast or something like that. And then come back maybe later. For anyone who's watching,